Then one day, Favour decided that enough was enough. She began visiting spiritual places. She went to different places looking for answers. At one place, she was told to fast. She fasted. Another place, she was told to perform certain rituals. She followed the instructions. Another person told her that someone was spiritually fighting her. Another person said she had an ancestral problem. Another said she was under a curse. Another said she needed to make sacrifices. Favour tried almost everything she was told to try. She spent money, she buried hard, she traveled, she prayed, she cried, she fasted, she slept in places she had never imagined sleeping. There was something strange about Favour. She was the kind of girl people noticed the moment she entered the room. She's beautiful, fair, tall, graceful, and naturally attractive. Men followed her everywhere. Some admired her from a distance, others found every possible excuse to speak with her. Some offered her money, gifts, food, jobs, and even promises of marriage. But there was one thing about Favour that nobody understood. Favour stole. Not because she was hungry, not because she was poor, not because she wanted to sell what she stole. Sometimes, she stole things she didn't even need. And the strangest part, Favour often didn't know she had stolen anything until someone caught her. The first time it happened, nobody thought much about it. She was working in a small provision shop. One afternoon, the shop owner suddenly noticed that some money was missing from the drawer. Everyone was searched. Then, the money was found inside Favour's handbag. Favour was shocked. She couldn't explain how it got there. She cried, she begged, she swore she didn't take it, but nobody believed her. Everyone was calling her thief. Thief, thief, that was the word people used, and once a person is given that name, it becomes difficult to convince people otherwise. Favour lost the job. She went home that evening and cried until her eyes became swollen. That wasn't the end. It happened again and again. Sometimes it was food, sometimes it was money, sometimes clothes, sometimes things as useless as a spoon, bottle, a piece of jewelry. She would find herself holding something and wonder, why did I take this? There were moments she would secretly return things, but most times she was caught before she could. People began to talk. That girl is a thief. She had no shame. Look at how beautiful she is. What a waste. Maybe she's possessed. Maybe someone has cursed her. Maybe she inherited it from her parents. But Favour had no parents to ask. She was an orphan. There was nobody to sit her down and say, "My daughter, let's find out what is wrong with you." There was nobody to defend her. Nobody to investigate her problem. Nobody to tell her, even if you made a mistake, you are still my child. One day, Favour was accused of stealing from a woman she considered a close friend. The woman had kept some money inside her room. When she returned, the money was gone. Someone suggested searching everybody. They searched Favour, and the money was found among her belongings. The friendship ended immediately. Her friend looked at her with tears in her eyes. "Favour, why?" Favour couldn't answer. She herself didn't understand. The woman slapped her. "You are a disgrace." Favour stood there silently. Then she turned around and walked away. That night she cried, not because of the slap, not because she had lost the friendship. She cried because she was beginning to hate herself. She sat alone in her room and whispered, God, what is wrong with me?" She searched her memories. She tried to remember when everything started, but there was no clear beginning, no particular day, no particular person, no explanation. She only knew that whenever the strange urge came, something inside her seemed to move before her mind could stop it. And after everything was over, she would regret it. People around her began making jokes. Some women laughed whenever she walked past. "Hide your things, Favour is coming. Don't leave your bag there." The laughter followed her everywhere. Men who once chased her began avoiding her. Some of them had initially wanted a relationship with her, but after hearing stories of her stealing habits, they disappeared. One man even told her, "You are beautiful, but I can't marry a thief." Those words broke her. She didn't want to be a thief. She didn't wake up every morning planning to steal. She wanted to be normal. She wanted to have friends. She wanted a job. She wanted someone to love her. She wanted to wake up one morning without being afraid of what she might do. but nobody seemed interested in understanding her. They only saw the crime. They never saw the girl behind it. Years passed. Favour's life became a cycle. Find a job, get accused, lose the job, make a friend, steal something, lose the friend, meet a man, he discovers her habit, he leaves. Cry, then start again. Then one day, Favour decided that enough was enough. She began visiting spiritual places. She went to different places looking for answers. At one place, she was told to fast. She fasted. Another place, she was told to perform certain rituals. She followed the instructions. Another person told her that someone was spiritually fighting her. Another person said she had an ancestral problem. Another said she was under a curse. Another said she needed to make sacrifices. Favour tried almost everything she was told to try. She spent money. She buried hard. She traveled. She prayed. She cried. She fasted. She slept in places she had never imagined sleeping. She begged for freedom, but nothing changed. The stealing continued. One night, after returning from another spiritual place, Favour sat on the floor on her room. There was no electricity, only darkness. She hugged her nails and began crying. I don't want this life anymore. She wiped her tears. I don't want to steal, she cried harder. Please, whoever is doing this to me, leave me alone. But there was no answer, only silence. Favour eventually fell asleep and tears on her face. Years continued to pass. Then one afternoon, something happened that would completely change her life. Favour was walking along a road when she noticed a madman sitting beside the road. He looked dirty, his clothes were torn, his hairs were unkempt. People usually avoided him. But as Favour walked past, the man suddenly shouted, "Mofa!" Favour stopped. She turned around. The madman stared directly at her. "Mofa!" Favour frowned. "My name is Favour." The man laughed. "No." Favour became uncomfortable. She wanted to leave, but the man said something that made her stop. "You are not the one that stole the egg. Your name is Favour now, but before Favour, there was Mofa." Favour felt a strange sensation run through her body. She didn't know whether to laugh or run. The man looked around before speaking again. "Mofa stole something that didn't belong to her." Favour asked, "What did she steal?" "An egg." "An egg?" Favour almost laughed. "Not an ordinary egg." Favour became quiet. Mofa had taken an egg that belonged to a spirit known as IKA. At first, Mofa didn't understand what she had done, but the spirit began haunting her. Fear entered her life. She became desperate. Eventually, Mofa decided to return the egg. She carried it and began traveling towards the forest where the spirit IKA was believed to dwell. But before she could reach the place, something happened. She was walking along the road when her foot struck a stone. She fell and she died. The egg remained with her. The madman looked at Favour. "And that is why IKA has followed you." Favour's heart began beating faster. She didn't know what to say. The madman continued, "You have been suffering because the spirit has been looking for what belongs to him." Favour shook her head. No, I do not understand. You only have to return what was taken." Favour started crying. "But where is the egg?" she asked the madman. "You don't have it physically. The egg belonged to the story of Mofa, but you are carrying the problem. You must buy a native egg. Go to a three-way junction on IKA market day. Call the spirit of IKA. Tell him to take back what belongs to him and set you free." Favour listened carefully. Before she could ask a question, the madman turned away. She called him, Wait. He didn't answer. She followed him, but within a few seconds, he disappeared among the people. Favour searched everywhere, nothing. It was as if the man had never been there. For the first time in years, Favour felt something she hadn't felt before. Hope. But she was afraid. What if the man was simply mad? What if it was another false spiritual explanation? What if she did everything and nothing changed? Still, she had already tried everything else. So, she decided to try one more thing. She waited for Eke market day. That morning, Favour bought a native egg. She held it carefully. As the day progressed, she became increasingly nervous. Eventually, she went to the three-way junction the madman had described. She stood there alone. Cars passed, people walked past. Nobody knew what she was doing. Favour held the egg. She remembered everything she had suffered. The jobs, the friendships, the insults, the men who left, the night she cried, the people who called her a thief. She closed her eyes, then she called the name, IKA. Her voice trembled. IKA! If this is truly why my life has been like this, I am giving back what belongs to you. I don't want to steal anymore. I don't want to lose people anymore. I don't want to live like this. If I have carried something that wasn't mine, please take it back. For several seconds, nothing happened. The road remained normal. People continued walking. Cars continued moving. Favour waited. Nothing. She eventually left the place and went home. That night, she slept. The next morning, something strange happened. Favour woke up. She got ready. And for the first time in many years, she didn't feel the urge to steal. She thought nothing of it. She went about her day. Then several days passed. Still nothing. A week. Still nothing. 2 weeks. Still nothing. Then months. Still nothing. Favour began testing herself. She would sit beside money that didn't belong to her, and nothing would happen. Someone would leave a phone beside her. Still, nothing would happen. A friend would leave her bag open. Yet, nothing will happen. She could touch things without feeling that strange urge. She was free, completely free. Favour couldn't believe it. She cried, but this time, they were tears of joy. She looked towards the sky and whispered, "Thank you." For the first time in her life, Favour began rebuilding herself. She got another job. She became careful with people. She started making friends again. People slowly noticed the difference. The girl they once feared began becoming the woman they trusted. Some people who had mocked her began apologizing. Some didn't, but Favour no longer cared. She had spent many years trying to convince people that she wasn't what they believed she was. Now, she simply wanted to live. But there was one thing she couldn't forget: the madman. The strange madman who called her Mofa. The man who had told her what nobody else had been able to tell her. Favour wanted to find him. She wanted to thank him. She returned to the place where she first saw him. He wasn't there. She asked people. Some remembered him, others didn't. She searched nearby road. Nothing. She visited the place where she thought he might have gone. Nothing. It was as if he had vanished. Eventually, Favour understood something. Maybe she wasn't meant to find him. Maybe he appeared only long enough to give her the answers she had spent years searching for. Maybe he was simply a madman who happened to know something nobody else knew. Or maybe he was something else entirely. Nobody could say for certain, but Favour knew one thing: her life had changed. The girl who once cried every night could finally sleep peacefully. The girl people called a thief could finally touch another person's belongings without fear. The woman who had been rejected by friends and lovers could finally begin building relationships without constantly wondering when everything would fall apart. And sometimes, when she walked past the three-way junction, she would slow down. She would remember that day, the egg, the strange instruction, the name IKA, and the mysterious man who called her Mofa. She never saw him again, but she never forgot him either. Because sometimes, the person who changes your life doesn't stay long enough for you to say thank you. Sometimes, they appear when you are at the lowest point of your life, give you a piece of information, and disappear. Sometimes, the strangest people are the ones who carry the answers we have spent years searching for. Favour's story became a reminder to everyone who knew her. People had judged her for years. They had called her a thief. They had mocked her, but nobody had stopped to ask one simple question: why? And perhaps that was the greatest tragedy, because sometimes what looks like wickedness may be a cry for help that nobody understands. Sometimes a person isn't to be condemned, they are asking to be understood. Favour spent years believing she was broken. She spent years believing that maybe she was cursed. She spent years wondering why she couldn't control something she didn't even understand. But eventually, she found peace. Whether the explanation was spiritual, psychological, or simply mystery, that could never be proven. Favour believed she had finally been released, and from that day forward, she made herself a promise. Never again would she allow people to define her by the worst thing that had happened to her. She was Favour, not a thief, not a curse, not a mistake. Just a woman who had suffered for years and finally found her way back. What about the name Mofa? The name she had spent her entire life forgetting. That name that somehow led to her freedom. And perhaps that is where the mystery truly begins. Because if Favour really was carrying the burden of someone who lived before her, then the question remains, who exactly was Mofa? And why was that egg so important? Nobody knows, but Favour knows one thing. After the day at the three-way junction, she never stole again. Check it out. Check this video out. Please subscribe.